Welcome back to the channel, part 53 of Neil Donson's Lotus XL restoration. In this video I'm going to complete some minor jobs that I had to do in the car. For example, the bonnet release catch, basically show you how that works. I'll also show you how I would put the seats in a Lotus XL, which is a little bit tricky actually. You've got to get the sequence right of doing that. Because it's a bit fiddly. So yeah, it's the way I do it anyway, the way I recommend other people to do it if they've got to remove the seats themselves. I also ordered some new springs for the back end of the car because the car basically sits too high, and I suspect that the springs that I was delivered before, they were more or less the right height. Yeah, maybe an inch or two difference. But I ordered some springs and they're markedly different to the ones that are in there, so I'm going to change them and see if it improves the ride. The handling's been excellent, but the ride is very, very hard at the back and it crashes over the most minor of bumps. Yeah, and once all that's done and back together, I'm going to take the car for a spin and see how it feels. And yeah, it's been a while since I've taken it for a real spin, so quite looking forward to that. But stay tuned. Well, as you can see, it's absolutely bucketing it down, and I'll go in and check afterwards if there's any water in the footwells there, and if there is, I've not solved the problem. If there isn't, then I guess we've made some significant progress there. I've just tidied up the bonnet release mechanism here, just give it a bit of a paint and everything. I just wanted to show how it goes together because it's an awkward bit on a Lotus XL, and it's much easier with the dashboard removed. It's a bugger of a job with the dashboard in. You sort of got to climb underneath it and feel your way around, and it can take literally hours to get back in. But I'll just show how it goes together. It's a particularly weak point in this car as well. It's not particularly good mechanism. So you've got your two spacers that fit between this metal plate here. And then you've got like a pivot spacer here which goes on the top, and it sort of pivots around on that, but I need to tighten everything up again. And you've also got this like a split pin, if you like, something like that. I don't know if that's the right name for it. And again, it's difficult to see, but both the cables sort of route through this metal plate at the back there. Sometimes if you pull too hard on the cables as well, that metal plate can sort of bend and it comes out, and then you can't release the bonnet very easily from there. So always be very careful when you're releasing the bonnet catch. Don't yank at it or pull too hard on it, or you'll just make things worse. I mean, I might one day redesign this because it's not a great design, it has to be said. And if you do ever get trouble opening the bonnet, particularly on the passenger side for a right-hand drive car, I'll just show you what to do. Routed, so I'm at the passenger side here, just above the footwell, and the cable there. So you can try and sort of pull this cable. I would sort of try and pull the cable there and get it out. You might want to get someone to hold the other end there, but if it won't come out, then you can just try and yank it from there, and it should release the catch in that respect. Now, I'm just wanting to run through with you how to install and remove XL seats, because they are actually quite tricky to put in and remove. But the first thing you want to do is, after I've screwed these rails into the back of the bottom of the seat here, first thing you want to do is you want to ensure the rail bit is as far back as possible. So that means that the seat would be pushed as far forward as possible if it's in the car. So I'm just going to do that now. Yeah. What you're looking for is enough gap here to put the Allen key bolt in just about in there. And I think there's enough there. And line them up as well on both sides. You want to be pretty accurate with how they're lined up at the moment. In fact, I need to go a bit further back. I need to go that far back because this side is obviously... Actually, that looks okay. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so that's the starting position before you actually start mounting it in the car. And you're going to I'll go to the car and loosely put in the back bolts. So then you sort of just put it loosely in position. As you can see, I've put the bolts in there for reference, but obviously I'm going to take them out and just line it up. And then sort of secure the back ones first, but don't torque them up at this stage. Just literally put the nut on at the bottom underneath the car, just until it the nylon bit starts to bite. That's all. Don't over tighten. Don't tighten them at this stage. So those Allen key bolts are just sort of loosely in place. Yeah, then you want to slide the seat all the way back as far as it would go to expose the front one. Yeah, then I'm going to remove these nuts, these bolts here, which are just temporarily in place, and secure the rail as well at the front. So once you've got the front nuts and bolts in place, then you can just torque them up. Doesn't really matter which order you torque them up. Don't over tighten them. Yeah, because they've got nylon locks on. At least they should have. At least mine have. And that's that torqued up to, I don't know, something about 5 newton meters, as little as that. But, yeah, I'll get in. Try and move the seat back a bit. Yeah, there we go. Seat's in place. I also bought these fans off Autodoc. I think the Thermotech fans. They're fairly standard. I think the cars they were listed for were like Audi and VW from the 80s or something like that. They're brand new fans. I've also done a little bit of testing with them, so I found out that with the connector here, I haven't got a connector, so I'm going to have to make something up here. I don't know if anybody knows who can find a connector of that type of inline. I've checked on Timo and AliExpress and all those kind of websites to find something, and I can't really find anything suitable. So, but how the connectors work is that the left hand, if the connector's at the top there, the left hand side there is a positive, the right hand side there is a negative, and I think the one in the middle there is actually a speed sensor or something like that. But yeah, you don't actually need the middle one there for the Lotus XL. So I'm going to try and wire that up and see if it'll fit, see if it'll work, see if it'll be installed without causing too much issues. So to remove the springs, obviously I'm going to have to remove that nut at the top there. I'm also going to remove this bolt here to drop the hub carrier a little bit, and I may have to remove the drive shaft on this side. So with the 4 bolts in the hub carrier, I think is what I'm going to go with. But I'll start with this first, and also I may have to remove the caliper if it won't drop enough. But let's see how we get on. Jack it up a bit, I think. Undo the 2 knots at the top of the shock. I'm also seeing here that the CV joint boot is split again, and they're brand new, so that's a little bit annoying, but hell, it is what it is. Yeah, jack up the hub a little bit slightly, lads, if you're going to do this yourself, because that's nuts under more tension while it's under the weight of the hub. So yeah, and also you want to keep the pressure off your brake pipe there if you don't undo the caliper. But that means we can probably now release the spring. In fact, we can. Well, let's go and compare that one with the old one. Yeah, there's definitely a difference there. The one on the right looks a lot thicker, and it's also shorter. Sorry, it's also longer. I'll go and weigh it anyway and see what the difference is. Yeah, there's 2 kilos difference there. That was what the problem was. Definitely I've been sent the wrong shocks. So put it in position and jack it up. Make sure it goes into place. Yep, it's coming through. And we also need to make sure that goes into position. I have a feeling that rubber bit's going to be a bit of an issue, but I guess when we put the weight on the car we'll have a look though. I'll put the nut on the top there. Okay, so top nut's in, and I'll jack it up and get this bolt back in here. Let's have a look. I think there's a washer that needs to go in there. Yeah. Yep. And that goes on there, and another nut on there. Okay, I'll just torque everything up. And see how we're doing. Now it still does kind of sit high, I must be honest. However, it's a lot less firm on the back end than it was, certainly on this side, but I'll do the other one now and probably take it out for a quick blast and see where we are. Anyway, I thought it was about time I gave the car a bit of a run. So, see how we stand with things, and with the new suspension coils fitted at the rear. Looks a bit lower on the back end, doesn't it? But yeah, maybe a little bit lower on the left hand side. That seems alright. On the right hand side, yeah, maybe I should check that right hand spring a bit, but yeah, good to be back out in the old machine. the steering feels a lot better. Sorry, the suspension feels a lot better. It's nowhere near as harsh as it was before. Still handled superbly, I have to say. The ride's better though. Do with cleaning that windscreen a bit, I think. Something there, the seat fell forward a bit. So I'll conclude the video here and now. It was a very enjoyable drive. The eagle-eyed of you will have spotted one or two jobs that I've already completed. For example, one of the door cards is already done back in the car. Still got the other one to do, and I'll probably make the next video about how I went about doing the door cards themselves. So yeah, with the passenger side door card, I've still got that to do. I also have discovered I've got a few more other jobs which I thought I'd done, but yeah, they need redoing sometimes, or the CB joint boots at the back, both at the outer ones, need replacing again. Partly my fault. Yeah, that's the joys of owning a classic car, of course, is that many jobs you're going to have to redo and all this kind of stuff. Also, I've noticed that the differential oil seal at the front, so where the pinion sort of goes in, that's leaking badly, so I'm going to have to take that out as well. I noticed that can be quite a tricky job if you do it correctly and by the workshop manual procedures, because of the crush sleeves and that kind of thing. But anyway, once again to all, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to those who have not subscribed. I'm getting towards 400 subscribers. I must say, I'm in a niche market here, but trying to find subscribers off the internet is bloody hard work, I can assure you. But like the video on the video itself, it'd be much appreciated, guys, anyway. And until the next video, cheers and take care.